Hi, I'm Colleen Pearl, the Cool Crone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about the new moon in Capricorn on January 2nd, 2022. The new moon in Capricorn will take place on January 2nd at 12 degrees 20 minutes Capricorn at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check your own local time for when the new moon in Capricorn is exact. The January new moon falls in the sign of Capricorn, which is feminine, cardinal, earth, and ruled by Saturn. Now, during the time of a new moon in Capricorn, you might feel a strong need for being useful in your society, and you might look for your own justification in the outside world. You may underestimate what you want from yourself and for yourself. Shyness may be accompanied by resentment of the fact that others ignore you. Do not seek approval from the outside. It will not help you get rid of your doubt, and it's harmful for you. You have to trust your inner values. The new moon is a great time for a fresh start, for exploring your potentials, for starting new things, for claiming your big, important dreams. Also for noticing inward emotional triggers and tapping into those emotional issues. This is the time for identifying what you want to work on in your shadow work. When the moon is in Capricorn, you will also feel ambitious, persistent, realistic, sensitive, practical, and disciplined. It's a great moon for taking care of business, but also for attending to the business of relationships, as all new moons are. So who do we know who has their moon in Capricorn? Stevie Nicks, the rock star legend. The only female to be inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once with Fleetwood Mac and once as a solo artist. Here is a legacy that will live on far after she has left this earth. She typifies the moon in Capricorn placement. In her case, the moon is almost exactly conjunct her midheaven, so her acceptance by the public is pretty much a given. Those with the moon in Capricorn are in for a certain amount of suffering in their younger days, and Stevie was no exception. Ambitious for fame, she embarked on a music career with her then boyfriend, Lindsey Buckingham. When the two joined the band Fleetwood Mac, success started to happen. With Stevie's vocals, the band rocketed to the top of the charts, and also with her songwriting ability. Even when her romance with Buckingham died, she continued on with the band. She began a romance with the leader of the band, and even when that romance ended, she still continued on with the band. This is prototypical Capricorn moon behavior. Even when things are awkward, tough, challenging, she kept on going and actually grew artistically and professionally. Her solo career has also thrived, and well, she is just a legend. Now let's talk about the retrograde planets happening during this new moon. At the time of the new moon, we will still have Uranus retrograde. It went retrograde back in August 2021, and it will remain there until the day after the full moon in January of this year. Venus began retrograde motion on December 19th, 2021, and will continue on until January 29th, 2022. Mercury will go retrograde on January 14th and will stay there in retrograde motion until February 3rd. And now, let's take a look at all of the planetary placements that will be affecting this new moon. So of course, the sun and the moon will be conjunct. That's what qualifies as a new moon. But in addition, we will have all these other planetary arrangements. Let's talk about them one by one. If we take a look at the chart of the January new moon at 12 degrees 20 minutes of Capricorn, you'll see that almost all the planets are falling above the horizon for this new moon. This means that the planets will be affecting our society at large. Now, it doesn't mean that there won't be some sort of personal effects. Of course, if you have sensitive points at a given placement of any of these other planets, it's going to affect you. Let's take a bigger look at this chart. So we have the moon and the sun at 12 degrees of Capricorn. We have Venus retrograde in Capricorn. We have Pluto very close to Venus. We have Mercury in Capricorn, Saturn in Aquarius. We have Jupiter just dipping its toe into Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, Chiron in Aries, Uranus in Taurus, Ceres at the very end of Taurus, Pallas Athena in Pisces, Juno in Capricorn, Vesta at the end of Sagittarius, and Mars in Sagittarius. So let's talk about the new moon in Capricorn. If you can imagine your emotional life being organized, that's moon in Capricorn. We will all feel responsible, dutiful, practical, and goal-oriented for the 2.5 days of this lunation. As this falls so close to New Year's Day, we will be making resolutions focusing on our long-term goals. We will have focus and ability to stick to our plans. If you can use this energy to take charge, organize, and set down rules, you will feel very fulfilled. At any rate, it's a good time to observe others and see what you can learn from their mistakes. The sun will be trining Uranus, which means that this is a time to tap into creativity and inspiration. If possible, work on projects that benefit society, especially those that are idealistic, progressive, intuitive, and original. Don't be afraid to show your stripes. Be yourself and shine, maybe brighter than ever. With the moon trine Uranus, your emotions may show your independence even within the family environment. Be careful of your emotions, however, as far as using a loved one as a punching bag. Try to keep things in check as much as possible. Focus more on your authentic self and working things out so you don't have to give in too much to compromise. Then we have Mercury conjunctive Pluto. You will be drawn to the most complex problems and intense research projects now. The subconscious and conscious mind are married at this moment, making it possible to make great discoveries after your painstaking research. Be aware that you will be bored by everyday mundane problems and only excited by the truly difficult ones. That's okay. This transit won't last long, so put this intense energy to good use. Next, we have the Mercury trine the node. This aspect gives people intelligence and good life orientation. They enjoy searching for the background of their motives, and they're able to critically and creatively deal with their personality. They're open towards others. They accept criticism easily, and they do not avoid conflicts. So while the Mercury is transiting the node, you will see that all of these options come into play. You can manage life's challenges with the help of your analytical and logical thinking. Venus sextile Neptune. This harmonious transit gives us romance, passion, and intuition in relationships. You'll find your sense of fantasy, inventiveness, and art are at an all-time high. Your taste will be tuned up and ready to choose the truly artistic piece that makes everything come together. Transcendence, mysticism, and magic will sexually arouse you, and you may find your desire for eroticism is keen. Creativity, sexuality, and compassion are all heightened. Venus conjunct Pluto. This conjunction manifests itself especially by very deep and intense feelings, which are very long-lasting. You will seek strong emotional and devoted relationships where sex play is very important. Be careful of jealousy during this transit, although you may keep your feelings to yourself right now to cover that up. Your sex appeal is high right now. Mars sextile Saturn. When you're working on something that's especially physically arduous, you need this transit. Your energy may be difficult to channel, but if you channel it into something that is actually physically challenging, you will have the energy to see the project through. You will be careful and consistent when working. Obstacles and challenge are no problem right now, as you have a way to deal with them. But believe me, if you just try to sit on the couch, you won't like this energy. Energy will be drained off of you like water out of a pitcher, so make sure you make use of this transit. Mars square Neptune. This aspect is great for mysticism and reinforces imagination and fantasy. Practicality may go out the window, but you may find yourself in a fever of activities to promote yourself through illusions or fantasy or artistic pursuits. Generally, this transit may find things a little chaotic in your life, but there is a way to channel it, especially if you use fantasy, intuition, or art. Jupiter squaring the node. The positive thing about this is that you will be confident about your abilities and you will be able to overcome challenges for a short time. The life challenges that are connected with this have a profound sensory experience, and you may find that you're lucky for just a few days. The negative side of this is that you may find that there's no harmony in the meaning of life and searching for it. You may find that you have intense dissatisfaction and unrealistic expectations. You may be trying to get more out of life than what you can get, and this may give you a sour taste in your mouth. Saturn square Uranus. This aspect has been with us for all of 2021 and will stay with us for quite a bit of 2022. Be aware that if you have fixed signs in your chart, you will be tense and argumentative during the transits. However, if you're able to examine your beliefs and embrace change and new ideas, the tension surrounding this energy will subside. Pluto trining the node. The positive thing about this aspect is that it gives you a great and fascinating energy to lead to the focal point of your life. So combined with that Jupiter squaring the node, you may find that you have to discipline yourself a bit, but you will get to the true essence of it. The experiences of power and powerlessness and encountering your own shadow side will help you to overcome your own life challenges and find your life path. Now let's take a look at how this new moon is going to affect you. We'll start with the earth signs. Taurus. So for you, Taurus, Uranus is still in your first house, Saturn is still in your 10th house, but you have all of the new moon action happening in your 9th house. So this will be a time where you're really setting your sights on far off lands or the internet or space. You're looking at things that could promote you into the future, and that's what you really want to be focusing on during this new moon. So while it is a great time for setting goals for this year, you might also want to take a look at what you want to be doing in the next 5 years or 10 years and use this planetary energy to help get you there. With Mars in Sagittarius, although it's in your 8th house, it's really supporting all of this 9th house activity. So listen to your dreams, make lists of things that you really want to do. You might want to make lists of things that you want to change in your life and use that Uranus-Saturn square to help you change them. But really looking to the future is what it's all about for you, Taurus. Virgo. So Virgo, you have Saturn in your 6th house and Taurus in your 9th house, which means that you've been futuristicing yourself for the last 4 years. All of the planets for the new moon basically are falling in your 5th house for fun. And I know, Virgo, that you're not a person who takes life unseriously. You're pretty serious about your life and your goals. Now, Mars in Sagittarius is being fairly supportive of all the planets in your 5th house because Sagittarius is a sign that likes to have fun. So you may be finding that all the fun in your life surrounds being in the home. But you may be coming up with great new ideas about how you're actually going to express fun with your family. All of the planets, to me, basically do represent people in our lives because people are what bring about the events that help us learn and grow. So with this new moon, you will be focusing on children if you have them or other people's children. You will be focusing on pets quite a bit. You may have some health problems with one of your pets, but I think you'll be able to resolve it. And in general, you'll be looking at what is my life about in terms of enjoyment? What am I really working at this job for, if not to have some enjoyment in life? So you may be planning big vacations, or you may be reviewing the way you have done vacations in the past and trying to take the best from that list. Something about having fun is what this new moon is really going to be focusing on for you. Capricorn. So most of the new moon planets are happening in your 1st house, and this is your new moon, the only one you get in the year. So use this time to make big plans in the upcoming months of ways of changing the way you are presented to the world. Now, Capricorn, I know you're usually a very business-oriented sign, so this may mean that you're changing your brand, you're changing your image, you're changing your look for a business purpose. But also think about you personally. How do you present yourself to the world? How do you step out on the world stage and say, here I am? That's what you want to focus on with all of this new moon energy and for the new year. Now, Mars is giving a very supporting blow with its Sagittarian energy because it's telling you that everything that you think intuitively is good. You should be reaching out into your subconscious and finding out what really makes you tick and what you can use in order to promote yourself out into the world. Be your authentic self. Don't just cover it up with makeup or fashion or even plastic surgery. Be your authentic self and see if the world doesn't respond positively. And now we're going to move on to the air signs. Gemini rising. So Gemini, this new moon action is happening in your 8th house, which puts a focus on metaphysical topics, sex, death, taxes, and your joint finances with your partner. Now, your partner is showing up in the 7th house with the Mars in Sagittarius, so there's a big supportive push from your partner in dealing with the joint finances. Now, you may say, well, duh, of course they want me to deal with the joint finances because it benefits them as well. But not just that, they're actually helping you get the copies of the receipts, track down the papers. They're doing physical things that will really help the process. So this is a great time for you and your partner to be talking about these things and making plans for the future. You still have Saturn in the 9th house and Uranus in your 12th house, so you're still having those crazy wacko dreams. And I would say, Gemini, start writing them all down as fast as you can or dictating them into your phone as you wake up, because those dreams are going to be what you need to rely on as a blueprint for the future. Libra. So Libra, most of the new moon planets are falling into your 4th house, which means that there's a huge emphasis on your home, the real estate that the home is on, and your family unit. So you will be looking at what is going on with your family, anything that you want to change about your actual home structure, or you may be really focusing on buying or selling real estate. That's a big venture, and with all those planets there, especially Pluto, maybe you've actually gone into the real estate business because you find it quite lucrative. With the sun and the moon there, it means your heart and soul is really, really committed to this project. So take your time, do your planning, and it'll happen. You've got Venus there, so you're going to make money on it. Now, Mars is in your 3rd house in Sagittarius, and that's going to be giving a lot of energy into big ideas. So a lot of your ideas are really going to be resonating as really big. Maybe you're a little bit scared to take on these big projects. But with Pluto in the 4th house for real estate, I would say, Libra, that you have plenty of firepower there. Nothing to sneeze at. Now, Saturn is in your 5th house, squaring Uranus in your 8th house. So your joint finances are going to be changeable, and yet they are going to be secure. So I would trust your partner on this, and your partner is ruled by that Mars in the 3rd house because you have Aries on the 7th house, and Aries ruler is Mars. So your partner is pretty trustworthy where it comes to matters of dealing with your joint finances and these big ideas and these new investments that you're counting on making. So good luck to you, Libra. I think this is a good move in the right direction. Then we have Aquarius. Now, Aquarius, for you, all of the new moon planets are really bundled into your 12th house. So your intuition is really exploding during this new moon. So I would say do a deep dive meditation. Ask your higher self, your guides, your angels, what should we be doing for 2022, and then do it. You've got Saturn sitting there in your 1st house. You've got plenty of stick-to-itiveness and determination to carry out the most amazing and the most ambitious project you can think of. You've got Mars in the 11th house, so you've got lots of friends and lots of support in order to pull off a big project. You've got Uranus in your 4th house for real estate. It's been there for several years. I'm sure your real estate has changed over the last 4 years, and that's due to Uranus. But I love that Saturn in your 1st house. That's your classical ruler. And I love all the planets in your 12th house in Capricorn, because that gives you a real leg up when it comes to using your intuition to formulate your future plans. Now let's move on to the water signs. Cancer, you have all of the new moon planets in your 7th house. This means that the focus for the new moon and for your plans for the new year have to do with relationship. So either you're going to be starting a new relationship, or you're going to be revamping the one that you're in. You could be even renewing your vows with your partner. This is a stellar, stellar start to 2022 for you and your partner. You've got Saturn in Aquarius in the 8th house squaring Uranus and Taurus in the 11th house. So yeah, I could see a repeat of those vows very easily. That seems to be the order of the day, and it's going to be unique, and you're going to enjoy it, and it may take place in a foreign land. Who knows? Now you've got Mars in your house of work in Sagittarius, which means that you're actually crazy busy at work, but you're enjoying it, and you feel like you're a horse running through a field. You just feel like you have plenty of energy for getting your work done, and it's not going to have to conflict with your personal plans of renewing those vows or whatever you're doing with your partner. So good luck, Cancer. This sounds like a really great start to 2022 for you. And then we have Scorpio. Scorpio, all of the new moon planets are falling into your 3rd house, which means that you are just bubbling up with ideas. So whatever it is that you want to launch for 2022, you've got the star power of making ideas happen. You've got Saturn in Aquarius in the 4th house. And while that isn't usually directed towards your career, I have a feeling for you it somewhat is. Saturn in your 4th house is going to be here all year. And so you're going to be doing, if you make any changes to anything to do with your family or the structure that you live in or the real estate, I don't think it's going to be selling or adding on. It might be shoring up. It might be making it more secure, more waterproof, more earthquake proof, things like that. But the real focus for you for 2022 is going to be your ideas. Your ideas, and if you're a teacher, your ideas for younger childhood education will just explode, and you will become a leader in that area. If you're dealing with a business and you're just a creator, you're very creative for all of 2022 with this new moon starting you out on this kind of arc. You've got Mars in the 2nd house, which means that you're going to be making money. You're going to be working hard, making money. So these ideas are really going to pay off. You've got Uranus in the 7th house for partners. So I don't know what's going on with your partnership, Scorpio, but you've had Uranus there for 4 years. So it's not like it's anything new. You're probably used to dealing with it. And I'm going to say that it just means that your partner is quirky or unusual, or somebody that nobody ever saw you being with 5 years ago. This person probably came into your life and you said, whoa, that's the person for me. But the ideas that you're going to be building on is just phenomenal, Scorpio, and I'm interested to see what happens for you in 2022. So great creativity, great ability to manifest these ideas into actuality. It's just going to be a great year for you, Scorpio. Pisces. So Pisces, all of the new moon planets for you are falling in your 11th house. So this is going to be a great year for you to join groups, create groups, be a part of groups, lead groups, help groups, contribute to groups. That's what it's going to be all about. And it's all going to be focusing on things that you have had as goals for a long time. So if you always wanted to start a knitting group, you're going to do it. If you always wanted to start a group to help collect food for abandoned dogs and give it to the animal shelter, you'll do it this year. Whatever it is that you really need to do in your heart, you're going to be doing it this year in a big way. And I'm assuming, Pisces, that you're a person that does like to do charitable giving, because that's going to be a big part of your thing too. See my video about Jupiter in Pisces. Oh boy, lots of charitable giving going on in 2022. We also have Saturn in your 12th house in Aquarius, which means that you're going to feel a little disconnected from your dreams, your subconscious, your own intuitive abilities. Not that they're going to go away, but they're going to be changing into something more practical. So it might be that you're in the process of becoming a professional medium, or a professional clairvoyant, or a professional intuitive in some way, an intuitive healer even, because of all that healing going on in your sign with Pisces, Jupiter, and Neptune. So Pisces, I guess for you, I would just say keep working. You've got Mars in your 10th house. It's giving you great energy towards your career. But you also have all these other planets connecting with the new moon in your 11th house for hopes, dreams, wishes, and groups that you want to be a part of. And this is your goals, your dreams in life that you're going to be expressing now, probably formulating it on the new moon and then activating it and manifesting it in the weeks and months to come. And we have our fire signs. So Aries, I'm sorry you had to wait so long. I know usually you're first, but in most readings, but the way I arranged it, I started with the earth signs and you ended up at the end. Okay, so Aries, all of your new moon planets are falling in your 10th house for your career. So your career is going to be popping. There's going to be a lot of ideas there. You may be getting bonuses. You may be changing positions. You may be working with more women. You may be just a lot of things going on. And like I said in all of the 2022 forecast videos, this for you, Aries, would be a great year for you to get a professional astrological reading and see what does all of this mean for me personally. You've got Saturn in the 11th house, which means that you're going to be really practical and structured about your hopes, dreams, and wishes right now. You've got Mars in the 9th house, which means that you're really working overtime at things having to do with the ideas and internet and learning and foreign cultures. So you may be taking on learning a new language in order to move there, or you may be studying a new religion, or you may be delving into publishing a book or doing something in the legal arena, or just studying something like astrology, who knows. But you're going to be putting a lot of energy into learning something new, but your career has already taken off because you've got all those planets there, so you've already got stuff going on in the career front, and maybe that is changing. Certainly there will be new events happening in your career. You've got Uranus in the 2nd house, which means that your way of making money is unique. And whatever you're doing right now, it is steady. Taurus is a steady sign, but it is unique. It's eccentric, or it may have to do with eccentric and Uranian things like the weather or electricity or the space or the internet or just bizarre behavior. You may be a behaviorist and you may identify bizarre behaviors. Who knows? But Aries, this is the year for you to get a forecast with a professional astrologer. Whether it's me or not, it doesn't matter. But my information is down below. Basically, send me an email. But I do think this is going to be an exciting year for you, Aries. And then we have Leo. Leo, all of the new moon planets are happening in your 6th house, which means that popcorn's going to be popping on the job. You've got people coming and going. You've got more women coming into your workplace. You've got your benefits and rewards. You're going to get a promotion of some kind for sure this year. So Leo, there's a lot of stuff going on for you in your workplace. Uranus is in your career place, so that means that your career is unpredictable. You're not going to be able to really chart where things are going. It's just going to happen. It's going to be like lightning striking, but it's in the sign of Taurus. And so Leo, always your career is going to be steady and probably moving on the uptake rather than going side to side in lateral moves. You've got Mars in the 5th house, which means that you quite enjoy what you're doing. Your life is fun. You enjoy your kids. You enjoy activities. You're very physical this year. You're going to be, I don't know, doing some more sports or physical activity, dance, something that really gets you moving. And you may even be helping others with that. You may be coaching a little team of kids or something like that with that 5th house emphasis. Now, Saturn in your 7th house isn't always a great thing, but it could be a time for you and your partner where you really get down to brass tacks and write your wills and do investments and really think about adult behavior with your relationship. Saturn rules time, but sometimes Saturn can mean separation. So for some of you, this may be a difficult time in your relationships and you may be contemplating even a separation or something like that. So be careful with that. And Leo, I'm going to say the same thing I said to Aries, is that this is a great year for you to get a professional astrological reading for the year, whether it's with me or some other astrologer. Now, my contact information is down in the description below, but if you already have an astrologer, definitely contact them. You definitely want a reading for the year because that Saturn in the 7th house can be difficult and it's going to be there all year. Last but not least, we have Sagittarius rising. So Sag, you have Mars in your sign in the first house during the new moon. So you're going to be feeling great. You're going to be feeling like you're invincible. You can do anything, tons of energy, and that's fantastic. Now, all the new moon planets, however, are in your second house, and that's where we talk about your talents, your resources, and making money. So you are just full of new ideas for streams of income, for new businesses, for new inventions. You are just so creative in that area right now, and you want to take advantage of it. So even if you don't act on all of it now, or even in 2022, write it all down now, because all of those ideas are things that you could implement either throughout the year of 2022 or in future years. Now you've got Saturn in the third house, which is telling you that all of your ideas need to be practical, well proven things. Like it doesn't want you. Saturn in Aquarius in your third house wants you to invent something, but it wants you to invent something that's definitely going to work, that's definitely going to give structure, maybe alleviate burden to other people. So it's going to be a time-saving thing that you invent. And then you've got Uranus in your sixth house in Taurus. So things on the job have been unpredictable for the last 4 years, and they're going to continue to be unpredictable for the last 4 years. Doesn't mean that you're going to lose your job. It just means that things are going to continue to be kind of crazy, kind of eclectic, kind of like you can't really predict it. But the bunch of second house planets is super, super important. You have Venus and Pluto there. Venus is money, Pluto is intensity. So you could be making some intense cash in the next month or through 2022. You've got the sun and the moon there. So you've got your heart and soul committed to whatever it is that you're doing. You've got Mercury there. So you're thinking, and being connected with all these great ideas that are just bubbling up from the surface for you, to the surface for you. So Sag, a very exciting year for you. I would definitely encourage you to go get a professional astrological reading. I have encouraged all the fire signs to do that. And if you watched my 2022 videos for all the signs, you know that I encouraged every sign to do that because it's such an incredible year. We start with this very intense new moon where all the planets are sort of clumped up around the sun and the moon. And this gives us the energy to do big things, especially with Pluto involved. Pluto can do tremendously large things. And Sag likes large things. You've got Mars and Sag right now, so you're really going to be feeling like you can accomplish these huge, humongous projects. So don't hold back, Sagittarius. This is the year when you can really do it. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. I love doing these videos for you guys, and I'm so happy that you joined me for this one. And take care. Have a great new moon. Have a great 2022, and I will see you next time.